severe thunderstorms over in Colbert, or actually northwest Alabama. Some mean looking little signatures there, and we'll get one of our radars up here so we could track it here. Let's get all this set up. I definitely wouldn't expect storms like this today out in northwest Alabama anyway. So let's go ahead and get this radar set up, get our secondary radar up, and we should be able to track here in just a second. If I can get everything to cooperate. Okay, so let's start tracking these things. Some big-time hail producers, even some rotation. Northwest Alabama. Let me get the closest Doppler radar scan up here, and got a nasty little cell there. There is some very nice rotation in that cell there that's coming across. It's actually came across. Damaging thread. There's tennis ball size hail with this storm. Let me make sure everybody's set up correctly. This is a dangerous storm. Making sure everybody can see everything clearly. We look good at this moment, I believe. I may have to adjust a little bit more out. There we go. Okay, so got some big-time storms out there. This is actually looking more like a supercell. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 6:30 for south central Lauderdale, southwestern Colbert, and northwestern Franklin. It's 5:36 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was located near Burton or near Tashomingo State Park, moving east at 40 miles per hour. Tennis ball size hail with 60 mile per hour wind gusts. People and animals outdoors will be injured. Expect hail damage to roof siding, windows, and vehicles. Expect wind damage to roof siding and trees. Areas impacted will be Malone, Posey, Loop, Pogo, Mount Hester, Cedar Creek Reservoir, Cherokee, Sragley Church, New Bethel, Alsboro, and Maud. Of course, definitely want to be taking precautions with this. And there's also some nice rotation, very nice inflow notch on that cell. We're going to take a look at it under our high resolution velocity here. We do have some rotation with that storm, so let me back away and actually going to look at another scan on another radar real quick. Let me pull that up a little bit more high definition radar here. Right now, it is a severe thunderstorm warning. But yeah, this little cell here, it's definitely got a supercell look to it. It's got that flying V, very, very classic supercell look with this cell. So when you see the flying V, that's usually that's a very intense updraft on that storm. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go tornado warning. Let's move on to our velocity scans. There is some broad rotation with this cell, so definitely a very mean little cell there. Moving toward Russellville, it appears. That would be the direction the rotation would travel. Let's get a track up on it. Looks like it's moving kind of to the east. So let's get a different track up on it here at 60 mile per hour winds. I need to know how fast it's going. Let's see. It's moving east at 40 miles per hour. So we got to track up Jonesboro in 13 minutes and Russellville in 16 minutes at that speed, give or take. So, you know, it's kind of estimated. We'll look at it. Very mean looking cell there on the scan here, and I'm looking at it in the background on the secondary scan. Just a very, very mean looking supercell there. What I mean by a flying V, I'll see if I can show you guys what I mean by the flying V. I'm not sure if I can. Yeah, actually, I can draw with this. Or flying eagle, I guess that's what they call it. I may be mispronouncing it, so just forgive me if I am. But you get the idea. Let me back it up here. I'm going to take a look at something. Make sure that I'm pronouncing it right. I want to make sure I'm telling everybody correctly. Flying Eagle, I'm sorry. That's what it's called, the Flying Eagle. I knew it was something like that. Actually, I ended up saying Flying V instead, but yeah, I knew that it was something along those lines there. I've heard of it, and it's an indication of a very intense supercell there. Very nice little supercell at that. So make sure we're still tracking here. And we are. Yeah, it's actually a Flying Eagle shape, and that's it's starting to lose its shape, so that is a good news, but it was a very nice supercell coming out of Mississippi. into the northwest portions of Alabama. It is capable of producing tennis ball size hail. Would not doubt at all when it crossed if there wasn't some embedded areas with, you know, tennis ball size hail. Wouldn't be surprised at all. With that being said, so let's get back to the radar. I do notice a little bit of a weakening, but our secondary radar here is indicating a TDS signature with a tornado debris signature is what it's saying. Let me see if I can confirm that. I know sometimes these radars, it's hard to confirm anything. I mean, I'm not seeing nothing at the moment that would say that. I'm going to look at the secondary scan here. We do have broad rotation with it. Getting a little bit more organized, it looks like, as it continues. I'm seeing a little bit of a couplet there showing up, so that's very interesting. So we do have a tornado signature showing up. Let me back this out, get rid of that track. It is going to come very close to Russellville, maybe even toward Littleville. But very nasty looking little supercell there. I'm going to get the velocity back up. And love this app. The velocity is just not quite as in depth as what I want. So let me back it up. I'm going to look at it through another radar here. So I'm going to sit back here in the back and observe it from a second radar. So I do see a close couplet. Or that, I think that's actually TVS. I may have said it wrong again. That's a TVS signature, a tornado vortex signature. So yeah, we still have broad rotation showing up by the Doppler radar there. And as you're noting it here, you got those brighter colors, but they're kind of broad. They're not really close together yet. I'm not seeing a debris signature on this cell at all yet. It's going right towards Cedar Creek Reservoir and off kind of to the east. Looks like it would put it going close to in between Russellville and Littleville if it keeps going that direction. Get back to the velocity scan here. Oh yeah, it's intensifying again. This thing may produce a tornado. Seeing that signature really ramp up, also seeing some of those hail indicators show up, showing this thing is producing some major hail. So, I mean, I would not doubt here in a minute to see a tornado warning on this. Very nice inflow. Very good inflow notch going on there. We got our RFD side, rear flank downdraft side here. So this thing is trying to wrap around. Very nasty looking little supercell there. It has lost its Flying Eagle look, but it's still a nasty little supercell there. Going to keep tracking it. Maybe actually see a debris signature in a minute. I hope not, but there is a possibility. Oh, yeah, look at that. All right, so we're going to switch radars over and look at a more high-definition one. If I need to track it out further, I will, and we'll switch back to this one because this one is excellent when it comes to tracking these storms out. So let's back it to another radar here. And again, this is not in our area yet. This is in northwest Alabama. Now I'm tracking it with radar scope. It's a lot more in-depth Doppler radar when it comes to, looking in depth. I'm a bit more used to it than I am Radar Omega's colors, so I'm, able to point it out a little bit better. All right, so I'm seeing weakening on that scan there compared to what it was. Still a very nasty supercell, producing lots of large hail. Yeah, that thing is a big-time hail maker. Got a report from emergency management here, or broadcast media reporting golf ball size hail in Bloody Springs. That was at 4:52. Yeah, still got its flying eagle shape. So severe thunderstorm warning still going. Let me check this out. All right, so we're going to track this thing. It is trying to get us act back together again, and usually these supercells just keep doing that. This was a classic look at supercell, flying eagle shape. It has weakened just a bit, but it's trying to pick back up, and that's usually what these supercells do. Lots of lightning around where the rotation is. Very concerning at this point. When you're seeing that lightning pop up near the rotation, that's a good sign that it's trying to wrap up. I'll put a dual pan up, that way I could see. So yeah, still broad rotation, looking a little bit more intense than it was. I'm surprised there's not reports of a wall cloud with this. I'm really shocked. We should have some reports of a wall cloud. I mean, I'm 99.9% sure that there should be some spotters reporting in a wall cloud with this thing. I'm surprised Candace Riddle there in Russellville is not seeing that. We're not reporting a wall cloud with that kind of a lowering hook. There should definitely be a visible wall cloud, but I don't know. She's kind of not in a very good spot. If I was a storm chaser, I'd be backing it south a little bit. Just a little bit, kind of down here where Justin's at, because he can look further north, and then he's got a way to get out of it. But she's a little bit far north, kind of really close to it. She's still at a safe distance right now, but yeah, broad rotation all in that storm there, so that's pretty intense. I don't know why I did that. I forgot I got dual pan up. My lady's watching. Thanks, hon. I'm answering the questions. Is it coming to DeKalb County? Well, it's a long ways out. This is the stuff that will move to the east and eventually, make it into our area, but it is supposed to weaken as it does. But we will just have to see if that does. And I'm going to put it back to regular because it doesn't look all that good on y'all's end. So this stuff right here, these supercells popping up ahead is what we're going to watch. These guys here are going to be, rather nasty. They've got all that energy to themselves. The ones popping up ahead, the cold front, that's the ones that could go tornadic. And then we have the main cold front, back up in here. You got several different lines. So we're going to switch back, track it a little bit further east. Alrighty. Still got a nice little hook, still got some very intense hail. The hail is going right toward Littleville. So if you're in Littleville, you got just a little while to get your vehicles put up. This warning, I don't know why it hasn't already extended into Littleville, but this thing still produces some crazy hail. Tennis ball size 2.50, still very well capable of producing that. Looks like it may be going south just a little bit, but I'm not really sure at this point. We'll watch it again. But yeah, Littleville, you're getting the rain right now, and you're about to get the hail coming in pretty shortly. Let's track it a little further out. Okay, I'm about to readjust. All this is coming our way, but I don't expect it to be quite this severe. However, there is a possibility of some severe storms. Okay, now it's got a very intense hook on it. I've noticed on a secondary scan that's starting to look a little bit more concerning than it did. Okay, we may have something trying to develop. All right, we're going to switch over. I'm starting to see that RFD wrap around the backside, so that's indicating to me that it's a very intense rotation. Uh-oh, okay, we may have something here. Nearly at Frankfort there, it looks like there is something showing up. on the velocity scan at this point, not 100% with this radar, but let me switch it to the other one. Okay, I do have an intent signature, but I can't confirm it. Yeah, I still can't confirm it at the moment. Yeah, I'm looking at several different areas here, keeping an eye on it. But anyway, track it out a little bit further. Keep an eye on those signatures there. Looks like it may have weakened again. Seems like that's what it's got a trend of doing. Crooked Oak, it'll be there in 1 minute. Jonesboro, 4 minutes. Limrock, 6 minutes. Legon Springs, 8 minutes. Littleville, 11 minutes. Mountain Star, 13 minutes. Tharptown in 16 minutes. St. Crossroads in 18 minutes. And Old Bethel in 24 minutes. So still a nasty looking little cell there. It has weakened just a little bit. Lime-size hail possible with that. And there is a severe thunderstorm watch that is in effect for northwestern Alabama. So far, this thing has not produced a tornado, but it's definitely got some rotation. Yeah, still can't confirm nothing with it. And it's getting its flying eagle shape back to it, or I don't know. I could have swore on one scan that I don't know. These things can be confusing sometimes. So Littleville, you were right on long track of this thing, next in line. And also Russellville, you're awfully close to the area of rotation. Looks like it might pass north of you just by maybe a mile or two. No problem. I'm trying to cover all of North Alabama now instead of just Northeast, since we've got such craziness with the cuts and everything going on with the meteorologists, government wise, and all that stuff. Trying to cover it a little bit more. But I was actually outside doing some stuff when I got the message come in about this. I was like, well, that doesn't look very good. All right, so while we're watching that cell, it has weakened. The rotation's weakened a good bit. I'm going to back it up here. Look at our timing. All right, so it shows that. It looks like that. Yeah, there's a line ahead of it that's going to develop according to the high resolution. That's what we're looking at right now. Between now and 8 o'clock, it's showing it getting along northwest Alabama there, progressing close to I-65 or right along I-65 by around 10 o'clock it shows. Then main and cold front moves into northwest Alabama. This all turns into just one big batch of showers of thunderstorms, and that's more than likely what's going to kill it out when it all combines into this one bit. And I'm not seeing anything really severe for northeast Alabama. It seems like everything stabilizes out as it moves into northeast Alabama. However, I do note the southern end of this stuff could produce some very high winds. There is a possibility of some very high winds as it comes through. A good bit of rainfall thunder and lightning with it, but looks like it gets into our area. Actually, the line passes us. It shows around 2 a.m. So 1 or 2 a.m. looks like it gets on past us, but it is on the way. And yeah, it's going to be just currently tracking this little supercell here by itself. And it doesn't look anywhere as organized as it did, but it's still a big hail maker. And anytime you got cells with that kind of hail in them, you best bet that it could produce a tornado. If it's got a strong enough updraft to hold hail that size, then yeah, it could try to reproduce at any time. New severe thunderstorm warning coming out as expected. Issued a severe thunderstorm warning out for southeastern Colbert County, northwest Alabama, northeastern Franklin County, and northwest Alabama, west central Morgan County, and north central Alabama, and central Lawrence County, and northwest Alabama until 7:15. 6:18 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was located near Littleville or near Russellville. The movement was east at 40 miles per hour. 2-inch in diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. Of course, take shelter till this passes. If you got animals, maybe get them to a safe shelter if they don't have one. Of course, get yourself to a safe shelter as well. Some 60-mile-per-hour winds with that and some very large hail. Areas impacted potentially, or no, areas that are impacted or currently impacted expected to be would be Posey Loop, Littleville, LaGrange, Tharptown, Neesmith, Russellville, North Cortland, Hatton, Crooked Oak, and Red Bank. So still a very intense supercell, but just looking at it on the radar there, I've noticed a little bit of something going on there. It is pulling in a lot of moisture into that rotation. So it does have a nice updraft, very, very intense updraft with it. I'm still shocked that, no one spotted a wall cloud. I'm almost certain they have. All right, so if you're in Littleville, get ready for a lot of hail with this thing. And this thing is producing a lot of hail, too. Let me get a current look at it. Lime-size hail. That is some very large hail for certain on this thing. Yeah, the rotation has really weakened out. It is still present. Alrighty, it's trying to ramp back up again. Starting to see it pick up just a little bit. Nowhere near as organized as it was, though, and I may have to switch to another radar. We're pretty far out now at this point, so we're going to switch a little bit closer. And now we're beaming up a little bit too high, but that's literally almost the same distance, but not quite. There's one right here. Nope, it don't beam out far enough. That just stinks. So we're beaming pretty high up at this point. I'm not going to lie. It's getting a little bit high up. It's kind of out of range of Huntsville. Huntsville's beaming up too high, and the one down there at Columbus Air Force Base, it's a little bit closer. But there could still be something going on toward the ground there. So Russellville, like I said, it's getting very close to you, the rotation. Littleville, the hail is nearly right on top of you. You're about to really notice that hail. I have noticed it weaken just a bit, but that's still some large hail in there. Going to do a direct hit on Littleville. And also watching that area rotation just north of Russellville by probably a mile. Looks like it may cross north of there, probably about a mile. And we do have broad rotation with it. So nothing tightening up at this point, but we are beaming high up too, so I'm a little bit concerned about the height. We really need more radar sights. Okay, I'm starting to see something show up on one of the scans here. Again, I can't confirm it at this moment. We're just so high up with this scan, and I absolutely hate this. I'll look at it through another velocity. Okay, so we do have some decent rotation with that. Looking at it through another scan. Okay, well, that is not any good. I believe Columbus Air Force Base radar may have just went down. Okay, nope, is back up again, whatever that was about. Oh my goodness. You know, I think I have just figured out what is going on with my computer. I know anytime you have problems with your time, like if the time's not set correctly, if it resets it for some odd reason, and this one's got a bad habit of doing that, I don't know why. Let me make sure the time is correct. It is 6:27, and my computer thinks it's 5:27. Gotta love it. There we go. That was the problem. That's why the radar showed to be down. I'm about to reload one of my radars back up here. Making sure it didn't cut everybody off. Not a problem. Let's track this cell out a little bit further now. So far, I've noticed it weaken and strengthen and weaken, and it's really starting to get unorganized. The further east it seems to go, it's starting to lose its updraft a bit. I think my track's a little bit off. All right, looks like it'll be in Old Bethel in about 8 minutes. The storm still has, some hail in it. It's really became unorganized. I mean, really, really unorganized. And it's really in a bad spot right now, radar-wise, because I've got two radars, and this thing is like very close to being out of range for both of the radars for just a few minutes. As it moves east, it'll continue to get further into the Huntsville's radar coverage site there. It's starting to pick it up a little better. But right now we got a decent scan on it. It's like Old Bethel, 8 minutes. Wolf Springs in 12 minutes. Hatton, 17 minutes. Rigdon, 22 minutes. Terrytown at 23 minutes. Mount Mora, 25 minutes. Letson Settlement at 27 minutes. Let's move on down here. Okay, it says Terry Heights in 29. Same thing with Mountain Home. Mountain Home, yeah, that's, wow, actually does say that. Wheeler, around 31 minutes. Bride's Hill, 32 minutes. And Chalybeate Springs in 32 minutes. So going on up in the 40 to 50 minute range. I think we're a little bit uncertain at this point, so we'll keep it at that for now. You know, my personal opinion, this looks like the updraft has started pulling rainfall up into the storm, and of course, rainfall being cold, you know, cooler air being pulled up into the storm would weaken it. Looks like the hail is right over Littleville, so if you're in Littleville, it's noisy at Littleville right now. That is for sure. Yeah, it looks like that updraft may be getting cut just a little bit. Yeah, I do still see rotation right on top of, it's like one of the storm chasers, Robbie Styles. It's like right on top of him right now. Still a big hail maker, that is for certain. 2-inch in diameter hail still being possible with this storm. Yeah, Columbus Air Force Base is still the closest radar within range at the moment, but it's getting really close to being in between the max height for Columbus and Huntsville. It's about to enter into Huntsville's site here shortly. I'll have to switch over once it crosses a little bit further east. And looks like it may be trying to go south a little bit. Not a problem, everybody. Just looking at the comments. Hello, Miss Pam and Shelby. I hope y'all are doing well. We probably won't see tornadoes in our area. There's only a 2% risk. And this cell here is, you know, really falling all to pieces. Once this line comes together, the odds of a tornado, not zero, but a lot lower than these individual cells out ahead of it. And they're starting to lose some steam. As I noticed, they're starting to connect into this big line, which is what the radar or high resolution models showed, that it was going to combine into one big line. So, you know, it looks like we should be pretty much okay over here. I mean, I can't rule out some damaging winds, and I still can't fully rule out maybe a tornado or two. I don't think it'll happen over here. I think where it's at right now, if there was going to be a tornado, that's where it would be at right now. In northwest Alabama, there is a tornado. Watch out for them. They're more unstable. There's less of a cap there. which we didn't have a big cap over here. However, we're losing daylight and we're losing daytime heating, and that's really going to cut back on a lot of it. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be no big time tornado outbreak. We have to stay up all night and track. I think it'll be once it gets along I-65. I think it'll continue to weaken because it's going to combine into one big line. That's what it's trying to do now. Once that cold front starts pushing on this way, it'll combine into one big line. And there'll be some heavy rain, gusty winds. Can't rule out some damaging winds. Can't rule out a brief tornado in between, in that area either. But it really looks to weaken as it gets along 65 into our area. I hope you like the new graphics. I actually learned how to do that. And my equipment was able to do it the whole time. I just didn't know it could do it. So I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, I had a friend. We're going to continue tracking. We're going to talk this a little bit though. But I had a friend of mine. Talked to him at the dollar store, and he's like, "You ain't going to quit storm chasing and doing weather, are you?" I said, "Well, not right now, but I'm sure one day I'll have to. Unfortunately, things keep getting bad like they are. I believe there'll be a time everybody has to do stuff they don't want to do, and have to give up stuff that they don't want to give up." Unfortunately, it's just the society we live in now, which I hope I don't ever have to give it up. I feel like eventually I might have to, who knows? I'm hoping maybe not. But, having your parents like, which my dad, he's doing better, thankfully. I'm glad that he's doing a little better. My mama's doing just a little bit better. Proud of that too. But I am almost 30, and I've been storm chasing and tracking storms since 2006, so that's quite a long time. Hopefully don't have to give it up anytime soon, but you never know. All right, this little supercell here still got some embedded hail in it. Looks like that updraft has really been knocked down due to that rainfall to the west. The cell has pulled in a lot of cooler outflow from these storms back here. So it is trying to weaken, but it is still producing some big hail. Still has a nice little look to it too. That's why I'm keeping an eye on it. These things can really surprise you. Now I'm looking at one down in Tupelo, Mississippi. I don't know why it's not tornado warned. Like it's south of Tupelo, Mississippi, and it's got a very nice flying eagle look to it and a nice little hook signature on it. I'm not sure why that is not tornado warned, but yeah, these are also cells that are discrete. That's ahead of the main line, so they got a lot of energy to work with. All right, I think our cell's updraft may be getting cut off. I still see a little bit of it. It's got a little bit of a tail hanging on there where the rotation's at, but not as strong as it was. Ping pong ball size hail still possible. It is weakening, but that's not no small hail by any means. All right, so this little cell is now east of Littleville, so next in line. Looks like it'll be around the Wolf Springs area in 2 minutes. Hatton in 6 minutes. Mount Mora around 14 minutes. Letson Settlement in around 17 minutes. Masterson's Mill in 18 minutes. Mountain Home in 19 minutes. Chalobate Springs around 22 minutes. Hillsboro 26 minutes. Reynolds 27 minutes. I'm not even sure how to pronounce that. Hopefully everybody can see it, because I don't. That's one. I don't think I can pronounce that. I really don't. I'm not going to try to. So I'm just going to mess it up. Everybody's going to laugh. We'll move it down to Fish Pond in 30 minutes, and that's funny enough. Wolftown in 32 minutes, and Trinity in 34 minutes. I've lived in Alabama my whole life and never knew some of those names existed. All right, now we're getting a little bit closer toward Huntsville site, so we're going to switch. We're still a little bit out of range. Yeah, we're still really out of range. Yeah, there's a really big area of hail. Directly just east of Littleville, still a ping pong ball size hail. Definitely no joke. Yeah, still seeing some damage and wind potential in that too. Yeah, weakening on down a good bit now. So I'm not entirely concerned with these cells behind it, because as we've learned, usually supercells take all the energy just about all the energy out ahead of them, and you can really tell that by the way this stuff here is behaving. But it's still producing some very high winds. I'm seeing some off to the northwest too, back this way out. Yeah, that's further to the north. So this should all just start combining into one big cluster of thunderstorms with heavy rain. But until it gets out of northwest Alabama, there could be a tornado threat, potentially with it. But as it gets along I-65, a little later, yeah, it should continue to weaken. It looks like this supercell's, done a good bit to the atmosphere in this area. And it will weaken, of course, a bit more, but still going to watch it. I got several different radar sites I could look, but are actually cameras, but can't pull them up on a live stream, unfortunately. Looks like we're getting into Huntsville's coverage a little bit better. Seeing a cell just to the east of Waterloo. It's got a little bit of hail in it around Gravely Springs. No warning on it. There is still a watch in effect. Expires in 5 hours and 13 minutes for northwest Alabama. That'll be canceled as this cold front gets on through here. But till then, I really say it's very low threat of anything in DeKalb County tornado wise. I mean, it's incredibly low. Like, I think it's 2% or less, but still we'll watch it anyway. Where it's at right now is usually where it's going to be doing something if it's going to do it. Yeah, Sandy, I didn't really go anywhere. Just took a break from social media for, I don't know, what, 2 days maybe? And then back at it again. Yeah, the one in Tupelo was crazy. I was looking at that one. All right, so we are in the marginal risk area. I really think the most we'll have to worry with is gusty winds. Yeah, we are in that marginal risk zone. All right, so we're not even in a 2% risk for a tornado tonight. That 2% risk cuts off right over Marshall County, like western portions, central and western portions of Marshall County, and western portions of Jackson County. That's where it cuts off at. DeKalb County is completely out of that, so we're talking less than 2% chance here. More than likely, not going to see a tornado at all out of this. Damaging winds, we are in the 5% risk for that. We're also in the 5% risk for some hail. So, I mean, there could be a few storms tonight along this cold front that produce some quarter-size hail and damaging winds, 50 to 60 miles per hour type of deal. Yeah, this storm here has really fell apart. Like it's absolutely lost just about everything it's got. It's got some hail, and I do see the eastern part of it trying to fire back up a bit because it is, kind of separating itself a little bit according to this radar scan. Let me look at another one. Yeah, it is separating itself just a little bit compared to what it was. So if it separates itself again, it could fire back up. Okay, and it has separated itself. It's broke off from that line to the west, and it's got back by itself again. So, going to be interesting to watch that. And yeah, I don't know why. Huntsville must be really high up because it is. I mean, I bet you it picks up better from Columbus, and it does. That's crazy. It's still a little bit pixelated, but it still looks, a little bit better. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't think it's producing ping pong ball size hail any longer. I believe it's producing about quarter sized embedded in those little areas. All right, I got a new severe thunderstorm warning up. 1 inch diameter hail. That's going to be what that I was just talking about a minute ago. It's going to be in effect for Lauderdale County, northwest Alabama, at 6:48 p.m. Severe thunderstorm was located 8 miles west of Underwood, Petersville, or 11 miles west of Florence, moving east at 40 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Areas impacted would be Green Hill, Oliver, Florence, Oakland, Anderson, Lexington, Center Star, Killen, Threet, and Zip City. I may have actually combined those together. It's actually Lexington and Center Star. And also starting to see some strengthening here with this one. Just south of Cherokee. That one looks like it could be producing some gusty winds. And I do see some gusty winds in there. Wouldn't be surprised to see a warning go with that one. Yeah, there could be some embedded hail in that one. Something to watch. It is along a line. All right, still seeing a lot of lightning out of that one with the warning in effect. We've been watching it for a little while and starting to see some lightning intensify with it, where that hail is. So see if they're another 18 minutes on that warning before it expires. And they have downgraded the hail size to 1 inch of diameter, just as I suspected. So yeah, noticing a weakening trend further east it goes. So I do believe that's probably going to continue. The highest likelihood of seeing any warnings would be over northwest Alabama. And along I-65, there's a possibility into Marshall County and western portions of Jackson County, but as it moves further east, I really am not terribly concerned about it. Well, let's take any questions since everything's kind of settled down a little bit. That one cell there out ahead, it was a supercell, but now it's weakened. The one north of Moulton there on the screen there, that's just, yeah, north of Moulton, it was a supercell at one point. You might, Mike, but you know how it is. The wind blows on a sunny day here, and we have trees fall. Or heck, you know what? No, it don't even have to be windy here for them to fall. They fall on a sunny day with absolutely no wind. So yeah, maybe you'll get lucky and get some sleep back. Not a problem. Well, everybody, I'm going to keep an eye on this. I really don't want to end the stream yet because be my luck as soon as I do. As we do still have warnings on the board. And tornado, what in the world is that? Okay, I gotta admit that's got me puzzled. Tornado watch number 60. Okay. I knew that was a tornado watch, but this was like, what in the world? Okay. A concentrated corridor of supercells is expected across portions of the Mid-South this evening. Of course, that's what we're watching. I was talking about ahead of the main line there. It's shifting southeast early this evening. Southern fringe of a trough that's shifting towards the lower Ohio. Okay, so they're expecting it to sag southeast, that threat for supercells. Yep, severe thunderstorm watch expires in 5 hours. So yeah, they're thinking, of course, these areas here, these are supercells that I'm drawing a line around right here. These are all supercells, and they extend way on back into Mississippi. And they're thinking that area there is going to be, where the tornado threat remains at along those supercells there. And it will sag southeast, so southeast will put it moving in this direction here. So, tornado watch number 60 issued at 6:57. We did have a wind damage report come out. Thunderstorm wind damage. Dispatch of a tree down on Walnut Lane near Littleville. Not surprised. Okay, I think Radar Omega is telling me wrong here because it's saying that's a tornado watch. What in the world? Did that just disappear on everybody else's end too, or am I seeing things? Because I know Radar Scope is showing it as a severe thunderstorm watch, and for some odd reason on Radar Omega it showed a tornado watch. I'm pretty sure I wasn't seeing things. Oh yeah, Mike, I believe it, absolutely. It was windy today. And there it is again. It's showing back up again. I don't know what is going on with Radar Omega. All I know is it's got to be a glitch. That's all I can say. I have no clue what is going on with that, but oh well. So now it looks like this storm with some decent hail, about 1 inch in diameter. It may have grown just a little bit. Could be some 1 inch of diameter hail. Looks like it's getting really close to Hillsboro at this point. If it does continue to produce large hail like that, the warning will be extended out and it will be moving. Let's track it a little bit better. So we put it around Hillsboro in 8 minutes. Reynolds, 9 minutes. Fish Pond, 12 minutes. Trinity, 17 minutes. Griffin Addition, 22 minutes. Beulah Landing, 24 minutes. Decatur, 25 minutes. Harris Station in 26 minutes. Murphy's Place in 28 minutes. And Rolling Hills in 31 minutes. Yeah, it would be a terrible idea to burn trash today. I don't know why anybody would, but hey. I done that one time on a windy day. And it got away, and it took everything in me to get it out. And I said after that, I would never, ever, ever do it again. It just wasn't worth it. And I ain't never done it again either. I learned my lesson. And what's amazing is I was trying to find water to put it out. And by the time I had got to the water, it had already spread way on out across the field. The wind picked it up, and there's my dad with a large pine tree branch just going through there, just raking it right out like it's nothing. I'm just like, what am I even getting water for? I said, I would have never thought to use a pine tree branch to put a fire out. I mean, who would have thought that? But it actually worked. So I was like, wow. Yeah, this cell here is weakening on out. There is still a possibility it may extend, but it is really, really weakening on out. We do have some severe thunderstorm warnings. That's going to be due to this cell here. Nice little bow echo on that one near St. Florin. Going to be some damaging winds. Also some hail. We do have reports of pea-sized hail, though this one here shows ½ inch. I'm not surprised at all. This cell here did have some damage reports with it as it crossed the highway there. Let's find out what highway that was. Back it on up. So across the highway here, Highway 43, right across Louisville there was some damage reported there, some tree damage. But right now, this cell is on top of Hillsboro, and it's really, really weakened on out. Even though it's by itself, it's still weakened out a lot. So our next storms we're going to be watching will be entering a little bit further south of us. It's out near Tremont. Also, there's got an interesting look. It did have, anyway. Yeah, there's going to be some destructive winds in that cell there. But overall, North Alabama, up here in our coverage area, just some severe storms with gusty to damaging winds and large hail. Yeah, this one here is really packing a punch. Nice bow echo on that. There's going to be some destructive winds on that one, and even some hail right on top of St. Florin. Quarter-size hail possible. Oh yeah, blower would work well. We just didn't have any of that nearby, and we didn't even have a blower. And my phone is overheating here, so I'm having to shut everything down on it. My goodness, it is hot. So I had to get off of there, off a video call, because that thing is it's getting way too hot. All right, everybody, the warning has been allowed to expire for that cell that we've been tracking for a while. It's right over Hillsboro. If you're in Northwest Alabama, you are under a severe thunderstorm watch for another 4 hours and 50 minutes. I don't expect that watch to last that long, to be honest. I'm going to move it back to the high resolution models. Let me refresh them and see what the latest update is on the timing. So there's our line right there with the supercell. Yep, getting ahead of it. It's 8 o'clock, so we're still going to have to keep an eye on things. Looks like that same cell eventually moves into Marshall and DeKalb counties around 9 o'clock, but it is not severe. Big O line just converges. There could still be some damaging winds over northwest Alabama at this point. Overall, heavy rain, light to moderate rather rainfall with some embedded heavy stuff. Starts to make its way into Marshall, Jackson counties. Again, around 10 o'clock, we move it forward. We start to get that line to the west. Some pretty heavy thunderstorms. Some could be severe over northwest Alabama still around 11 o'clock. And then this main line gets over here. There could be a strong or severe storm now, it's thinking. There would be an isolated thing along the line here, but there's still a possibility of some strong stuff. Mostly heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and the main cold front moves through, the front part of the line there. It starts to get on through here around 1 a.m. After it passes, we get, a little while longer of some rain. Some of it'll be light, some of it'll be moderate to heavy. And then it resets. So it's showing this, it looks like it extended the timing on it a little bit compared to what it was. It's showing rainfall still at 3 a.m. So, it looks like they've extended it a pretty good bit out. Looks like it may have slowed down a little bit. So we will be keeping an eye on things, though. And if anything does become, interesting on the radar, looking like it's going to produce a tornado, we'll go back live for northwest Alabama, of course. But still some rowdy storms out there around Florence, north of Florence near Killen. Seeing that weaken out as well. And this little guy here, he's probably going to hang on, to be honest. I figure it'll make its way on into Jackson, maybe to Cab Marshall, if it don't fall completely apart. That is what the high-resolution models was referring to, is this one making it that far. But who knows? It may not make it this far. Anyway, thanks for watching. We will go live again if needed. So got a few things to do, and I believe it's already nighttime. So stay weather aware. It's not over with yet, but if we see anything, we'll definitely jump back on. So let's get ready to wrap it up. And of course, have to give our sponsors a thanks. And hope you like the new graphics. I did do some work on that. Wasn't sure if anybody knew that, but just wanted to show you I did do some work to make it more realistic, and it took a little bit of time to get it that way. But anyway, let's get on with our sponsors here. Mr. Dylan Snyder at Alabama Living Real Estate. For all your real estate needs, you can give him a call at 256-979-4330, and you can also visit him on Facebook. Also, RKG Automotive Group. You can give them a call at 256-572-6586. Also visit them on Facebook. Check out what kind of vehicles they got, stuff like that. Definitely go check both of them out. Give them a like, and let them know that you saw it on the stream here. I would appreciate that. That being said, if you want to send a thank you gift, you can do that by Cash App to CabCWX. I also have a PayPal, but everybody likes to use Cash App, it seems like. So really appreciate it. God bless. Have a great night, and we'll be watching the weather. So have a great night, everybody. Mike, everybody on. There's a lot of people, so thank you, every one of you. I know I can't shout out to everybody because the chat has already moved down a little bit to the bottom. Very welcome, Sherry, Tammy, Andy, Mike, Case, Isaiah, and Mike again. So you guys have a good night. Stay weather aware. We'll be back on live if needed. So take care.